And now LiquidTLO is pushing across the map a little bit, and there is a couple of Balings on the side at the top of the position, maybe ready for a drop pretty soon. And we do see a couple of the Balings, Roaches, and the Zerglings being loaded up at the 6 o'clock position. So the forces are divided at the moment. The Terran is actually trying to take down the middle. I think he's going to go for a doom drop of the base, and I think he is going in because he knows that the Terran player is siege up in the middle. Very few forces on the side here. We see a drop very soon. We're going to see a drop in the main as well as fight over here. This fight, I think, I'm not sure who's going to win it, but there's a huge drop inside the base of the Terran, and he's not going to have too many things to respond because the Thors are pretty slow, but Terran's gonna push, and the Zerg player is also gonna push. Now we see a lot of infestors inside the base. I think he expected LiquidTLO to fall back with the Thors, and he wanted to take control of the Thors, but the Thors are not actually falling back at the moment. The Thors are all the way over here, and he does have vision with the siege tanks. He's actually inverting the siege upon himself, and he's preventing the Zerg from leaving. The Infestor is taking control of those tanks, and at the same time, these Hellions as well as the tanks are pushing inside the base of LaLush. Both players doing critical damage, horrible damage to each other. Grabbed the control of that Thor, but was taken out, and this Infestor actually grabbed control of the wrong unit. I think the Terran player able to hold both chokes, preventing the Zerg from moving out inside the base and preventing the Zerg from leaving the base. But Fungal Growth does go off, and he's going to be able to take down these Hellions no problem. These tanks gonna come in and try to lay siege, and the drop inside the base is almost completely done. And the Balings haven't actually moved just yet, still at the 12 o'clock position. And now the Zerg player is in a little bit of trouble. LiquidTLO is taking out a lot of the forces, and the Roaches are coming in, but the Roaches are already very weak. Another scan goes off. We'll see that LaLush doesn't have too much, and now at this time, I think he's thinking about using the SCVs to fight. That is very interesting what's happening there. Ooh, I bet you these overlords wish they had some package like a Baling or Zergling or Roaches to drop upon those things, but he doesn't have anything. And he does have some. He's gonna drop off some Zerglings and drones. It looks like he's gonna abandon this base at the moment. Right now, there's a huge income differential. If you take a look at the income, ooh, actually, wow, why isn't TLO mining that much? Because the Zerg's only on 1 base right now. The Terran is still on 3 bases, and the income isn't that different, surprisingly. I guess both players are suffering quite a bit. He could totally drop that Balings right now, just run the Balings into this patch and pretty much destroy a lot of the gold income. And the SCVs are coming in for the fight. That is very curious. And I think both players are trying to sort of scratching their heads thinking about what to do, but I think LiquidTLO is in the commanding position as he's going to take out the main base of LaLush, forcing him to rebuild that hive, that lair, and that hatchery all at the same time. We see spawning pool and some spine crawlers and a spire on the side, but I think this point is pretty much it. But it's surprising that the income is so close between these two players, considering that the Terran has 3 bases, whereas the Zerg only has 1 base. Maybe he forgot to build additional SCVs. There was a drop that went on and did hurt quite a bit of his SCVs, so that's why you're seeing the hurt inside LiquidTLO's base. Very nice play there by LaLush, but he's in a huge hole right now. He only has both islands, a couple of overlords over here, a couple of overlords over here, filled with some roaches, and this overlord filled with some Zerglings. So right now, I think LaLush is just holding on to life by a straw, by a very thin string. And this barracks, oh my god, the same barracks at 912 HP, still alive, just floating around and scanning the terrain. And we do see a bunch of mutalisks, and I think this barrack will be able to spot those mutalisks for LiquidTLO, and I think both players are thinking about how to kill each other off. We do see the high sec auto tracking for upgrade for the Ravens, I believe it was, or for the turrets. Ooh, fiery death everywhere. And right now the barracks is actually coming into range of the Queen, and the Queen is actually shooting at the barracks, but the Zerg is at a horrible position, and this factory is going to get view of the other base. Very difficult. LiquidTLO sieging right outside the range of the Zerg base, and boy oh boy, I don't know why LaLush is trying, but I think he's hoping for a miracle with those mutalisks, and he's going to come in with these mutalisks into the main base but there's nothing inside the main base of LiquidTLO, as one factory is on fire. But even if he takes out this factory, he's not going to do too much to the army count. The army count actually rather very close, 93 to 110. You would not suspect that with this sort of income differential. LiquidTLO hasn't really expanded too much just yet. I guess he's still on this one goal expansion, pretty much mining exclusively from there. And now we see additional units are being produced by LaLush, additional spine crawlers. I think right now he's just trying to hold off until he can grab a critical mass of mules. I think that's his only hope. A bunch of Hellions are still patrolling back and forth, trying to see if there's any drop incoming. Some Overlord's gonna be dropping some roaches, perhaps for LaLush into LiquidTLO's base. And we see a 250mm cannon upgrade being done for the Thors at the moment, and right now he dropped off a Thor, but the Thor actually gets neuroparasited by the Infestor there. That is pretty good play from LaLush. I mean, considering what he has at the side, he's going to take down these infested Terrans no problem. And I think now is probably going to be a good time to GG. And he has a couple of mutants. He doesn't want to waste those mutants. And never give up is his is what he's thinking. He's going to try to take down this one Thor with 33 upgrade. Very difficult to take down a Thor, especially with the SCV repairing it, but he does manage to take it down, and the upper left-hand corner island has gone down for LaLush. LiquidTLO taking that advantage over there, but LiquidTLO hasn't really expanded at the same time, so these mules might be able to do some damage, even take down all of the production buildings. Now the Thor is being dropped off, and oh, I thought he picked it off. If he just focused fire maybe a split second earlier, he could have picked off that that medevac that dropped that Thor. But right now, if we take a look at the unit count, we see 4 Thors versus a couple of Mules and some Roaches. Very funny game to be watching, because the army count is actually pretty similar, whereas the income, it has a huge differential, I think. Well, actually, army count is double now, because he has a lot of SCVs and tanks on the side. And these Mules are just flying around trying to... And this Infestor is throwing down some infested Terran and trying to take down some additional units. And he's going to drop a whole bunch of Zerglings onto these tanks and take out some of those tanks. Very brave play there by the Zerg player LaLush. And I think this might be it. 3 Thors going to be taking out some of these Mules, and I think that's going to be it. If he's going to take out... There are no more bases, no more hatcheries for LaLush at the moment. So I think LaLush has the GG at this point. Oh boy. Oh boy. Two bases going up for LiquidTLO. LaLush is still not GGing. Maybe he doesn't realize he doesn't have a base. LiquidTLO goes, okay, I'm gonna just kill off your larva. And LaLush is maybe taking a nap somewhere. If we took a look at the APM right now, what is going on? The APM, LaLush is actually surprisingly still at double the APM of LiquidTLO. What could he possibly be doing at this moment? Let's watch his view. Oh, he's dropping off some Zerglings and Roaches on the side of the base. Oh man, just on the last couple of things, trying to increase his score. Very. Oh, I don't know if this is good manner or bad manner. He does put up a second hatchery once again. I mean, one hatchery on the side of the base, making TLO. But he does GG out of the game. What a funny game. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy that. Remember, always GG games. If you don't want to say GG in your games, at least say GG your face. See you guys at game number 3.